One of the highlights of our trip to Rwanda was getting to meet Timothy, a kid in Karangazi. I have the privilege of sponsoring through Compassion International. The Compassion staff were matching us with matching the kids with their sponsors. And I looked over and I recognized him from the picture that I had of him. And I saw in his hand he had a picture too. Except in that picture I'm clean shaven and I had a full beard from the trip. And he couldn't find me. Like, he's looking around and kept, asking one of the other kids. And so when they called his name and went over, you could see the look of surprise on his face, which to me was really fun. It was awesome getting to meet him. We connected over football. We then got to play football. I was able to give him a ball and a jersey of my favorite team. And that day was really special, but it was the next day. That was a day that I won't ever forget. Timothy didn't go to the Compassion School, which is right next to our church. He lived in Karangazi. And so the next day we went back to the school and we're playing with a bunch of kids. Off in the distance, this kid yelling, "Harry Kane! Harry Kane!" Which is my favorite player and what they were calling me that day. And I look over and he's just going like this. And Timothy was standing right there. And this was one of his best friends. And I was ecstatic because I didn't expect to see him that day. I thought Monday or the day before was the last day I was going to get to see him. And so I ran over to him. We had like a special high five that I taught him. When we got to spend time together that day, he got to see me in the soccer game score my first ever header goal. It was a highlight for me, a momentous occasion. And it's just funny to see him just laugh and giggle as I kind of went crazy and all these kids, mobbed me. But after the game, I got to hang out with him and some of the other boys, and he came out of his shell more. The day before, he'd been pretty quiet. We just talked and laughed and joked with him and with the other boys. And it was a day I'll never forget. And I really hope to get to go back and visit someday and get to see him. And it was one of the highlights of my trip to Rwanda.
There are so many things that were just incredible moments for me. Of course, meeting my little girl that I sponsored through Compassion, and she had a twin brother, and I also got to meet her mom, which was extra special. But there was one day where we visited one of the parishes in the area in Karangazi, and we met with a woman, and she just shared her story through the interpreter about the fact that she had cancer. And we asked her how we could pray for her, and she said to pray for her health, but really what she wanted prayers for were to pray that her 12 children would come to know and accept Jesus, because she was worried that once she was gone, she would not be reunited with her family. She shared very intimately how important that was to her for them to know Jesus. And we prayed for her. We wrote down the names of all of her children and decided that each person in the group would pray for one of those children, that they would come to know him. And it was just a very emotional and very sweet time. So that was really awesome.